Oh, we're the wrong side. Hang on. There we go. Because I know you get a the ump with that, didn't you?
Got a bit of a nervous wink.
You're not winking anymore. You're not winking anymore. That was the chant in the pub yesterday.
Rob, I've got to say, mate, you sound a bit ropey, my man. Everything all right?
I was doing a lot of shouting, doing a lot of singing, doing a lot of jumping up and down, throwing beer around. I was kissing men, women. I was having men and women kissing me. I think at one point I actually got sexually molested, which is fine. At my time, I'm going to take what I can get. So it was good. It was good. I'm here in this apartment in Lyon. For those of you watching that are not aware, I did come out for the game. We booked it. My brother was quite persuasive. He talked me into coming, and I'm glad he did. In all honesty, because otherwise I might been sort of like just sitting at home watching it. And we came here. We booked the flights, or not flights. Sorry, because we come with Eurostar. Sorry, not flights. We booked the travel. My brother booked the accommodation, and we didn't have a ticket. So I can say it now because it doesn't matter. I was a little bit cagey, and people probably read between the lines and knew what I was saying. In that, I had a ticket in the home end. Okay, all right. I know it's not what I should have done, but I couldn't get a ticket any other way. And it's like, look, I've got to do what I've got to do. I've got to be there. The ticket got scrubbed with, I think, that's 48 hours notice there or thereabouts. And there was an awful lot of people out here that we're in the same boat. We've come across many West Ham fans as we're wandering around. You got a ticket? Nah, it's been binned. Oh, right. Obviously, the French authorities, they can tell that you were in England when you bought your ticket or whatever. You weren't a French national, whatever. There was a few people that I think once they were out here tried again. I don't know whether they had any joy getting in the ground, because the story I was hearing was, oh, they're going to check your passport, and basically if you ain't got a French passport, then the local gendarmes are going to make you touch your toes, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it was all a little bit like, and I was thinking, look, if we got a ticket whilst we're out here and it's in the home end, and you know we get old Claude, the policeman, coming up to us and, monsieur, you're not English. We send you to prison. It's like, you know, my wife doesn't need a phone call saying that I've had my collar felt. You know what I mean? It's just like I just couldn't be asked with it, sort of thing, you know. So yeah. There were some pubs that the King Arthur, Wallace, and Le Welsh. Three sort of pubs within a real close proximity of one another. I can't see the comments, by the way. I don't know if you can sort of put them up for us, Duke, as you go.
I will do as we go along. Yeah, I was just checking.
Yeah. So any of you guys putting comments in, and I'm not referring to them. I do apologise. I can't see them because I'm doing this on my phone. They were told by the old Bill that they're very likely going to have a load of the Lyon Ultras come piling in, so they shut them. The stupid thing was, they shut those pubs, yet there was another pub a little way along called the Funky Monkey, and another pub, a bar a little way along, literally within yards of the pubs that they shut. So you're like, what was the point of that? You might as well just have kept them open, for Christ's sake. It was completely ridiculous. Nothing happened. I mean, you know, there was one time that we were standing there having a beer and whatever. Yes, I am. Yes, love you. We were standing there sort of minding our own business, and this guy come along on a moped, and someone turned around and went, on your toes. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, that's usually sort of like a little bit of a scout, if you will, for the ultras. And they'll sort of like, they'll go through, and then sort of like 5 minutes later, you got a load of dickheads coming along with chains and whatever else sort of like floating around. So we were sort of like, right, okay, sort of like stick together and all the rest of it. Nothing happened. So we then cleared off and went to, there was another bar called Wallace, which was the other side of the river in Lyon. And there was another pub called the Elephant and Castle. And I didn't see him, but I've obviously become aware of it latterly, that Tony Cottee was there. So yeah, that was quite cool. But we watched the game from the pub, the Wallace. We got sort of like some seats right by the sort of like the screens. Loads of West Ham surrounding us, and lots of people that we'll probably never ever encounter again. But we had that moment where we was there, we was all watching it, and like I say, 1-0 up, the place erupted. I was like, oh mate, this is brilliant, fantastic. But you're still thinking, listen, it's only one goal. Half time came, you're like, okay, great. I had to go to the toilet. I had a few beers, I can't lie. And I'm getting to a stage of my life, Duke, where I need to go to the toilet a bit more often than I used to. So I've sort of like got in this queue. And the really stupid thing here, and I've been to a couple of bars, is that a lot of the bars we go to, the bars that we've gone to, normally you go to a pub as you run, and you'll have a couple of urinals, and you'll have a proper toilet, this, that, and the other. There was just one for the whole pub, one. So you can only go in one at a time. I was like, are you for real? So I'm standing there and I'm sort of like, yeah, okay, fine. And there was certain shenanigans going on. Let's just say there was a shelf there that was a few people were putting some white powder on it, if you know what I mean. Which is not something that's my particular cup of Tetley, but I'm like, listen, whatever floats your boat. Yeah. So I'm standing there and in I go, do what I've got to do. And literally the moment I walked out of the toilet, the place exploded again. And I thought, what do they all watch the channel and they've sort of like, they've cottoned who I am. That was the second goal going in. I'm just like, I went mental, absolutely crazy. I'm grabbing people that I don't know, and I'm complete strangers, and I'm kissing them, and they're kissing me. And come here, and all that. But then it went back downstairs to the chair. Everyone's singing, and the atmosphere in the whole evening. There was no trouble that I saw anyway. It was all very good natured, singing, dancing, just really good vibes. And I'm sitting there, and I've got this bottle. I've now got this bottle of beer. I think it was like Singer. The third goal went in, mate. I didn't have a drop of this beer. This beer went everywhere. I'm spraying it. It's going left, it's going right, it's going up, it's going down, it's going forwards, backwards, everywhere. I didn't drink it. I didn't drink a drop. It was completely all over the place. Nobody cared. No,
I can imagine.
Absolutely. And I've seen the stats that we had less possession and this, that, and the other. I couldn't care less. We played like a team. We just played with courage. We played with pride, passion, determination. We played in a fashion that is what we want to see as West Ham fans. And I'm so happy that I've come all this way. My voice is recovering. I mean, it was much worse than this earlier.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, it's I've sent an email to my manager asking if I can have 3 days off for the Frankfurt game. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm going to stick the comments up, seeing as you're there and you can't. So, Neil, good evening. To our boss too on a Saturday morning, and he's still buzzing from last night. Fair play to you, my man. I do not blame you. I'm there as well.
Can I just before you sort of go on to the next, there is just one thing I want to mention. I'm going to get it off my chest, because there's a lot of people that turn around and say that West Ham aren't a big club. I'm absolutely sorry to say to anyone that has that particular notion. I come out here and see what people have done and given up their time to come to a city where they knew full well they weren't going to get into the ground.
Yeah.
There was thousands here. And I bumped into an 18-year-old kid, and I've got a little video diary that I've been keeping, and it's going to go up on the channel in the next day or two. So keep your eyes out for that. But I've put things on social media that have alluded to this. And I encountered an 18-year-old kid who's come here on his own from Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Tell me we're not a big club, please. I'll have that conversation with you.
Listen, we're not just a big club, Rob. We know what we are.
Yeah. Stuart, hello.
And I do believe Mr. Cotty led a rendition in one of the bars yesterday. West Ham are massive. Yes, I saw that. So yeah, good evening, Stuart. Andy, good evening to you, sir.
Andy, you looking well?
It's just a picture. It's the same picture he always has. So he's always
well. He looks well. Don't knock him. Come on.
Okay. We have Irish Tommy in. Good evening.
Irish. Hope you're doing well, mate.
A couple of other messages there from Andy. Joan says, "Wow, you know how to live as long as you remember that you were there."
Mate, I will take this to my grave.
Elliot says, "Good evening, Elliot."
You and Elliot.
Diane is just giving you a load of shit, including that one there. You know where you can get sympathy. Yes, I think we all know where sympathy sits.
Yep.
She does tell you she loves you, though. Becca says hello. Di says you should have packed your tenner, lady, and then you wouldn't have had to have worried about missing the goal. That's a story for another time, though.
I'll bear that in mind for Frankfurt, sweetheart.
Yeah, you can have that conversation.
I think I might need to.
Richard Cox is in the chat. Jones says, clean sheet, scored 3 and wiped the smug smile off the winkers. Job done. We did that indeed, and Neil's just agreeing. So obviously, Rob, I didn't get to go. I was obviously here at the pub, and I'll be honest. I got up at just before 9 downstairs, started doing the cleaning, and I won't lie to you, the apprehension was absolutely chewing at me. I was confident. Don't get me wrong. I was confident when I woke up. We'd done obviously the video the night before, and I went to bed confident. I woke up confident, despite that apprehension, that feeling of fuck. And then as the day went on, I felt myself going the other way.
Oh yeah.
I felt myself getting more and more nervous, and I won't lie to you. I got one. I was knackered. I did the full day the day before, so I was absolutely knackered. So I got one of the lads in to come in and start work at 4, and I went and got myself. I jumped in the bath. I thought, I'm gonna have a nice relaxing bath, like that for about an hour. Out of the bath, got dressed over to Burger King. Other fast food outlets are available. Over to Burger King, got myself a bit of grub. Came back, I do indeed. Sat on the sofa, and I started watching Hammer's chat videos from earlier in the day, and then it came up that obviously they were going live at 5 to 7 for the thing. So I kind of put Twitter up in the background of the computer, and kept refreshing the West Ham page so I could see, the lineup, and the lineup come up, and I was like, that's predictable sin, but thank you, it's fine. I'm happy with that. It's a good lineup. And then Gio and Gonzo are doing their bit, so I just put my head back. Still feeling sick because I probably just ate, enough Burger King for 4 people, and everything. I started then to get really uncomfortable. Fell asleep, but was feeling really uncomfortable. Like, I hate this. Like, what am I going to do if we lose? Right? That was one of the thoughts. As I closed my eyes, that was one of the thoughts. And about half hour later, Joe got back, so I got myself up and got my shirt on. Realised that I couldn't wear a West Ham shirt because I'm a fat bastard and they're all too small for me. So the blue Thoughts from Iron One went on, and downstairs I ventured, and it was horrible. The just this absolute feeling of dread.
Talk about Lewisham.
This absolute feeling of dread. This absolute this sickening feeling in the pit of my stomach that I was, that I haven't had for years as a West Ham fan. Let's not fuck about. I haven't had it for years, and I've got Rangers up on one telly above the bar. I've got us on the other telly. I've unscrewed the light bulb, so the light bulb weren't shining directly in my eyes as I'm looking above the bar and watching the TV. And obviously we kicked off, right? And and I watched see the message from Becca here that her and Paul told me that we were going to win, and I weren't having none of it. And then was it Akembe, whatever his fucking name is, Toto,
the left winger, left.
And mate, within 90 seconds, he cannons that fucker back off the post, the base of the post, and that could have gone anywhere. That could have hit Areola and gone in. Shit, bit of luck there. Absolutely. I mean, I've got to be honest. I think Soufal needs to go find his knees after that little jinky that he did down there in the corner with Soufal. And Soufal was like, where'd he go? Vladimir Soufal was a bit like John Travolta in Reservoir Dogs. He was like... Oh, he's hit the post. Shit, okay. And then they had that bit where, Dawson and Soufal were dicking around on the floor inside our 6-yard box, about 3 inches away from our post. And then you see the hands go up for a handball, and I'm like... And then the referee goes, no doing, crack on. I'm like, hang on a minute. This is interesting. This is going to be a bit fun. I think we might be all right. And we weathered that storm. Now, what film did I say? Tommy said Pulp Fiction. What film did I say? I say Reservoir Dogs. I
think you did, but I wasn't going to correct you.
Thank you, Tommy, and thanks for Rob. Thanks for making me look like a dick. But we
you do that for yourself.
I do, yes. But we weathered it, and then we started to come into the game, and we started to play in the way that we know how to, and by that I mean we
played the football that got us here. We played the football that got us to the sixth place last season.
We knew that they were going to come at us. They had to. They're the home team. We could just pick them off at that point at our leisure. And I tell you what, there was a ball that went into the box in the first, I think, 5 or 6 minutes, and Issa Diop rose like an absolute salmon. And I mean, this was a very convincing header. Hang on a minute. Oh, fuck's sake. It's kicking off downstairs, apparently. Just asking Jo if she needs me. I've got it on camera. So, he goes up and he wins this header, and it was a cracking header. It was a distance. It was solid. And I thought, that's it. That's calmed the boy down now. He's won the first one. That's it now. He's going to be on point. And then 13 minutes later, Toto Ikembe Nkumba, or whatever his fucking name is, him.
It can be.
It can be. That's it. He broke down the right, their right, our left, and Diop just went, "No, you're right." Bang, and absolutely melted this geezer out. Like whop. Got up, patted him on the back, turned around. Referee brandishes the yellow, and all of a sudden, you knew that Akemba wasn't wanting to go near us at Diop again for the rest of the game.
Were you not concerned when you got the yellow that you thought, hang on?
Nah, not at all.
I had that. I thought, hang on.
No, he knew exactly what he was doing. He rattled him, and he made sure he stayed away from him. He then didn't. He wanted nothing to do with Issa Diop. He wanted nothing to do with Diop. So then, that made his life a little bit easier. Diop. So that made his life a little bit easier because he came over the other side because he realised he wasn't getting anything out of Dawson. Came over to the other side and got absolutely clattered by Diop, and then he kind of went, "Oh, what do I do now?" And then obviously you had the bits with Ballon Dawson. I'm keeping that, by the way. That's staying now. Sod your VVD, right? He is now Ballon Dawson. I don't care. And obviously, before we go on, just if I may. Craig Dawson, and I was having this conversation with my brother that's out with me at the minute, and he made the point, and I kind of know what he's saying, but it's not going to happen. Craig Dawson, on his current form,
if he wasn't at West Ham, if he wasn't 30 odd years of age, and if he wasn't the unfathomable centre half that he is, he'd be getting sort of like called up for England, wouldn't he? Let's be honest. If he was at United,
yeah. Oh, mate, he's hands down currently last 7 or 8 games, hands down. Significantly.
You telling me that Maguire's better than him right now?
Mate, I was about to say significantly better than Maguire. Quite simply, if you turn around and went to me now, do a swap, Dawson and Maguire, £80 million defender for a two. No, you're all right. I'll stay around, thanks. I don't need to. I don't need it. And I mean, he was picking some passes out. Like there was some crossfield pings going everywhere in that game. That was from the back four. That wasn't just what was going on further forward. This was from your back four, pinging 60, 70-yard crossfield balls, looking sexy as sin. And then, the first goal. Oh, who you answered to now?
Hang on. Something's gone a little bit funny with my phone. Hang on.
I'll tell you what. Let me make you feel better. Yeah. Does that help?
Where have you gone? There you are. Hang on. It's all right. Modern technology.
We're going back now. All right. I wasn't sure. He had the effort. Who was it? It was Bowen. We had a couple of Bowen efforts. There was one, I think it was Johnson. No, was it Johnson's cross or Antonio's cross? Back post. Bowen just couldn't wrap his leg round it. Couldn't get his foot round the ball, and it's side netting. I was like, oh no, maybe not. And at this point, I had a couple of Millwall fans in the pub.
Oh, I bet who were they cheering for?
Which was fine. But they started, oh, you're fucking shit. And I'm like, I'm about 3 pints in right now. And I turned around and said to my bar staff, do me a favour, just make sure I don't do anything stupid, please. And then literally just before the first goal, I feel this hand on my shoulder and I turn around and it's only 16 of the French students that were here about 8 weeks ago had walked back into the pub and I went, you lot can fuck off and all. I ain't having you lot in here. Turns out they're Nantes fans. Nancy, or Nons. Yeah.
Nancy or Nantes?
Nantes.
Nantes.
Yeah, Nantes. Or Jimmy Saddles.
No, that's Nantes.
Yeah, that's what I said. Nantes. And they don't like Lyon. I was like, you can stay. That's fine. You can stay. I've got a lot of time for you. Obviously, Bowen had the shot that led up to that first goal, didn't he? Some real good play. Yes, Tommy, Nons fans. I'm going to quickly go back because I listen. This is Rob does this. Look, so somebody says Pulp Fiction. Hammerhead, good evening.
Welcome. Steve
says buzzing. Yes. Peach is in the building. Is in the building. Neil says I had some apprehension around the 25 minute mark, but once Ballon Dawson's header went in, it all went away. Yes. James says the ref waved away the Lyon players. No penny, was unmoved. He was a good ref last night. Neil agrees and says that it's 10 out of 10 from him. Best ref we've had all season.
Hope we get him in if we get there, which
at the minute. Craig Dawson. Or more about Dawson. Everyone's saying about how they love Dawson. Then you've got Neil says you could get 40 Ballon Dawsons for what man you paid for Maguire.
We only need one.
And then, you know what? And, like the Bowen's great interchange, wasn't it? I think it was Antonio that was just bullish down that left right-hand side again, which gave... he was superb last night.
In fact, there's no one that didn't play there.
No. I mean, listen, you can't give them all 10s, sadly. But I'll tell you what, he was brilliant last night. He was immense. His hold-up play was fantastic. He wanted it last night. I'm gutted he didn't score, but he wanted it last night, Rob. You could tell. He was trying to take him on, like he'd knock the ball down the wing and go. He looked like the old Mikel Antonio with a not worried about his hammies going every 30 seconds. He was gone. And he did some good interchange down the right. Obviously freed up Bowen, who let one go, and it was deflected. And I'd be honest with you, I was like, ugh! Didn't know where it was going. You couldn't really see on the telly where the ball was spinning. And obviously we get a corner. Now, the first thing I said was, when the referee gave that corner, and I saw it was 4-0, and I went, please don't hit the first fucking man. Like, make sure that this is a good corner. Please don't hit the first man. I won't lie to you, it was only about 2 inches above the head of the first man before Dawson said, hello, that's mine, it's going in. And what, literally, just quickly, Moussa Dembele was marking him, and he just went, see you later on, son. Bang, 1-0 West Ham. And I tell you what, I went mad. I think there was about 4 other West Ham fans in the pub.
You went mad. We Declan in this pub.
I'm glad I didn't have to.
Right? There's a false ceiling where I was sat, right? That false ceiling is in bits now. And I am being serious. It got smashed to smithereens.
Listen, I can imagine. I can imagine. Now,
it wasn't done by me. People was watching this from the pub.
Yeah,
it wasn't me. But,
listen,
you know,
like that, we were 1-0 up, and we never looked back, Rob. That was the best part of it for me. We never looked back. We literally, like Tommy says here, where is it? Antonio bullied them, and he continued to do so for the rest of the game. Like after that, his hold-up play was outstanding, and I can't fault him. I cannot fault him. And
judged on goals, and fair enough, he didn't score, and he hasn't scored for a good while. But
listen, it doesn't matter. He's doing everything else I want, and he's bringing in everyone else, and everyone else is able to score the goals. And for me, that's all that matters right now. The force of the header. Where is it? Let's not put Neil in a timeout. The force of the header was amazing. It was just really well directed, and he was winning it all day long. I don't care what anyone says. He was winning that header. You are really popular, mate, aren't you? He was winning
going past my front door back at home.
It's your ring
the old ring doorbell. It's the old chime. So if anybody hears that, it's probably a cat or a crisp packet that's blown past my front door. And goes, oh, there's a cat or a crisp packet. Oh God, I'm in Lyon. What do you want me to do?
Becca says she nearly had a heart attack. Yeah, that was because I slammed my hand into the bar, jumped, yelling, slapped one of the pillars in the pub, and just absolutely went mad. Andy's in the building. Good evening, Andy. Welcome. Now, I thought that would have been enough for the first half, Rob. I thought that's good. We'll take it now into half time. That's good. You know, what was it? 34 minutes, I think it was. 38 minutes. 38, 44, and 48 it was, yeah. So, obviously, we get the goal, and I'm like, yeah, that'll do. See this out till half time now. Nothing stupid, just nice and easy. Take it in. Let's get to half time. Well, again, there was some great play down the wing. Left-hand side. And we lost the ball. And they tried to clear it. Glenben comes running in, and he wins it on his chest. Plays it out wide, I think it was 4-0, and carried his run on. Now, that was what I was really impressed by, was the fact that he carried that run on. He didn't just stop once he played the ball, which for me was brilliant. And then he gets down that wing, and he puts in. Now, it was an aimless cross. Now, what I will say is, I accuse Ben Rama of lacking a bit of a footballing brain and football knowledge for whipping in crosses without seeing what's in front of him. And I'm going to do exactly the same for Ben Johnson here.
Yes.
All right. It was a very poorly thought out cross. There was no intelligence behind it. You know, there was no one in the box other than, I think, Antonio, who was about 4 foot in front of where the ball ended up landing, or 5 foot. So it was an aimless cross, pointless. And I'm not going to listen. If I'm going to dig out Benrahma when he does that, I'm going to do the same to the other players. It's only fair that I do that. But he got lucky. He got lucky that the defender got under it more than he got behind it. So his header dropped to an on-rushing Declan Rice on the edge of the D, who took one touch. Mate, he side foots it from 18 yards with the power of a 2-year-old throwing a snowball. Right? There was honestly, right, and people in the chat, you might think I'm being a bit of a dick, but it was a little bit more than a P roller, Rob, right? But it was off the ground, which then it took a deflection off of the I think it was Denea sliding in, and it takes the slightest of touches off the tip of his boot, which just lifts it above the goalkeeper's outstretched hand, and it nestles in the corner. Now, what I want to talk about, I don't know whether you've seen it, okay? But if you haven't, get on YouTube, have a look at the BT Sport page, find the highlights for last night, and just watch Declan Rice's celebration.
Is that where he was kissing the badge? I've heard.
I am telling you now, right? I'm about to make a comment that may or may not come back and bite me in the arse in 4 months' time.
I think I know where you go.
He don't want to leave.
No, he don't.
That ain't a sign of a man that wants out. That's thinking about next season at Chelsea or United or at Liverpool or wherever, at City, anyone else that wants him. This is a guy that literally runs to the fans. Literally, I think as Gio put it to Gonzo and Hammer's chat after the game, which I watched when I was sitting in my office, still drinking at 2:30 this morning. And he turned around and he said he was French kissing the badge. He was literally tonguing the badge as he was running down. And then when he got to where the West Ham fans were, he was punching, he was fist punching and banging the badge. And then stood there taking the accolades. And I'm there watching it, Rob, and I'm going, listen, that man doesn't want, he's not thinking anything further than West Ham right now. And you saw him after the game with Mark Noble, if you have a look on the West Ham Facebook page, they put up the celebrations on the pitch afterwards. Great to see Ogbonna on the grass, by the way, celebrating. That was amazing.
You might not be aware of this next bit, because I got told this by some people that we've seen that were lucky enough to get in the stadium in the away end. They were kept in, the away fans were kept behind for a good hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was, after the game. They were up in the gods. And they said that after a little while, the players started to come out. And of course, all the West Ham fans were like, ah, and all that, right? Apparently, Declan Rice was like,
oh, really?
What I'm told. So if someone was to come back and go, that's not what happened, listen, I'm only telling you what I've been told. I wasn't there. This is coming to me third hand. But apparently, Declan Rice comes out, he's sort of like, and apparently it's gone dead quiet. And I'm told, like, pin drop, you can hear it, territory. And he comes out and apparently he starts singing West Ham are massive. Now is joining in. I think I got told Jared Bowen joined in. I mean, if there's anybody that's in the chat that was there last night, they can either corroborate that or say that basically I've been told a load of bollocks. I don't know. Like I say, I'm not sort of saying I was there to witness it. I wasn't. But this is what I've been told by someone that was. And apparently David Moyes at one point came out.
Yes,
and
I saw that as well.
Was he came out, he's looking up at the fans, and apparently he starts shaking his head. And then all of a sudden he just starts applauding the West Ham fans. Like I say, that's what I've been told. If someone's in the live chat that wants to say, yes, that is what happened, or that's not quite, that's fine. I'm like I say, I'm not saying it's the gospel. It's what I've been told. So, but yeah, Declan Rice doesn't want to leave West Ham now. I mean, because you know the story what happened with Glenn Johnson.
Yeah.
You obviously spoke to him before he actually left for Chelsea.
No,
you know the story about that.
But so I don't even think Declan won't even agree to a move, mate. I don't think. I really don't. I think he wants to be part of the big build that's going on here. I really do. I mean, listen, the second goal for me. Just going to quickly go back into the chat because I keep doing this. So, Dave, good evening.
Dave,
welcome.
Before you go on, Dave, bumped into Trevor out here, mate. Oh, that's I'll tell you what, he was happy, but very, very emotional for reasons you're aware of. You can fill in the blanks because obviously there's someone that he wishes was here, and obviously I know you would have as well, Dave. So for those of you that don't know, Dave is my cousin. He's my mum's sister's son. So he's my cousin, and Trevor's his dad's brother, so it's his uncle. And Trevor's out here. So anyone that's watching, if you know Trevor Jenkins, if you know Trevor Jenkins, you'll never forget him. He's one of life's characters. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I just had to.
All right.
Yes.
Tommy says Lyon were rattled by the first goal, went to pieces, which led to the second goal. Yeah, they were dragged all over the place for that second goal. Though, I mean, like you say, Rob, you didn't see it as such. You still haven't seen it. So
I was coming out of the toilet and the place literally, I walked out. Everyone started jumping up and down. I'm like,
it was a. They were all over the gaff. Literally, Declan Rice was literally unmarked and could have had a cup of tea before he took his shot on the edge of the box. Neil agrees with Tommy there. He says exactly, Tommy. Stephen says, really think we should have given Perkins a game, or should give Perkins a game against Burnley. Heaven forbid anything happens. Yeah, listen. I'm there Sunday, so I'd actually I'd like to see that happen. Peachy's just having a conversation with people. Neil agreed with me. Banging. I like that. It's a comment to you with Declan Rice. Charlie says, good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing on this fine evening?
Well, he was there. He was there. Yeah, Charlie's there. We bumped into him because obviously we've been exchanging messages, and Charlie was in the away fan, so he will be able to corroborate what I've said or be able to say complete bollocks.
Yeah. And then Andy says this summer has to be a good window. Agreed. When in the first half, Rob, where was your brain at? 2-0 up. How were you feeling?
Elated, bewildered, couldn't quite believe the situation we're in. I'm 46 years of age, and there's been so many false dawns. There's been so many times where we've got so near yet so far. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there's that little bit of me that over the years has kind of got conditioned into. There's that little voice that inside that goes, "Yeah, but it's going to go wrong at some point." And when it goes wrong, it won't just go wrong. It will go.
Oh, we fucking implode.
Yeah, it will go spectacularly wrong.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the one that always sticks in the mind, I think it was around about 1999, and I was there in the Bobby Moore Lower when we beat Aston Villa on a penalty shootout in a League Cup quarter-final match. Gareth Southgate misses a penalty, or he had it saved by Shaka Hislop, and I'm dancing around. We win the penalty shootout. I go home. The next day, we've played an ineligible player. There's talk we might get slung out. They replay the game and we lose it 3-1.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of stuff that happens to West Ham.
Yeah.
So 2-0, there was that little bit of me that was like, if they get the next goal.
Yeah. Do you know what? Just before I come on to Tommy's comment, Charlie says corroborate what, but Words and Pictures has come in saying and said if you YouTube Declan Rice, West Ham, Massive, there are videos there. So Charlie, yeah, what Gacy said was obviously you were there, but the Declan Rice came out and quietened everyone down, put his fingers to his lips, and then started singing West Ham are massive. I think that's what he wanted you to corroborate, my man.
Yeah. And then David Moyes apparently came out, looked up at the West Ham fans, shook his head, and then just started applauding.
I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures of that. I have seen pictures of that. Obviously, we come out of the second half, Rob, and I don't know about you, and I said it to a couple of the guys in the pub. I turned around and said, "Please, God, don't sit back now. Don't invite this pressure. We're winning 3-1 on aggregate. The next goal is everything in this game." And I just didn't want them to sit back and defend because we know what happens there. We know exactly how that has a tendency to go. And then I'm going to cover the next one. I'm going to cover is a comment about the Irish Tommy's made, and Neil has agreed. Now, there's a comment on that Gio made last night on the post match, and he says that he believes Fornals was looking for Lanzini, who was a lot closer, and he just overhit the pass. I think he underhits the pass to Jared Bowen, but it actually works out really well because Bowen can run onto it as opposed to it going a bit further wide out to the right hand side, and then obviously we don't have much from that. It turns out, as Tommy says, Fornals' first touch pass to Bowen was unbelievable. I think if you'd asked him, if nothing had come from it, if you'd asked him, I reckon he would have wanted to put a little bit more on it. But it was, I'll tell you now, for a first touch, one-time pass, it's one of the best that I've seen, especially it leads to a goal. It's one of the best that I've seen. It was outstanding. Such a great pass. But then there was still so much for Bowen to do, Rob. So much for him to do. He's got a defender bearing down on him. He's run, 30, 40 yards to get himself into the position. He's probably, his heart's hammering in his chest. He's probably blowing out of his arsehole at this point. And he didn't rush. He didn't slash at it and go high and wide or whatever. He stayed calm. It was his weaker right foot as well. Puts it across the goalkeeper, bottom corner. And all of a sudden, what you're looking at is from coming out at half time, and we're thinking, please don't let them get the goal. Please don't let them get the goal. To Antonio's, again, brilliant hold-up play to put it to, to lays it back to Fornals for that first-time pass. What was the pub like, Rob, when we went 3-0 up? How did that?
Well, like I say, my beer that I'd got like 5 minutes earlier, maybe not even that, was there, and I'm just showering everyone. I'm just I'm going mental, mate. The place, literally. I think that place must have been really well constructed, because how we didn't blow the roof off when that third goal went in. Do not know. The place just erupted. There was, like I say, there was beer flying everywhere. It wasn't just my beer. Everybody's beer was going up in the air. There was limbs. There was people just, like I say, hugging complete strangers. I think I might have witnessed a marriage proposal at some point. It was just nuts, absolutely nuts, because that third goal went in, and it's like all doubt has gone. All doubt has gone, because they get that goal to make it 2-1. Oh, that makes it a little bit like the old April starts to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That goal went in. Put a fork in them. They're done.
Oh, they were finished. They were finished. And Just going to go through some more here. Moyes was so pleased that his dad and his brother were at the game.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic.
Hammerhead says, I want to cry. I'm so proud. I did cry last night watching the highlights. I'm not going to lie.
I did.
I think a lot of people did. Neil says, just thinking if away goals were still worth 2, then we flogged Lyon 7-2. And then Charlie's just saying here, Rob, yeah, it happened. Boys was the first one out. Then small groups of players come out. Rice came out with Dawson and Johnson. It was mad, to be honest. Went silent. We were up in the gods.
Can you imagine having... Could you imagine having that power, that influence?
Oh, listen.
You literally got in the palm of your hands a couple of thousand grown men, women, children, and you can literally just go, and they go, and everybody complies. There's You imagine that, having that power and influence, and I'm not saying that in a negative. That's not a negative at all.
Oh no, I know what you mean.
He doesn't go anywhere. He don't want to go anywhere. Now, I think he will eventually. If I'm, hand on heart, do I think it's going to happen in the summer? No, I don't.
No, he won't go anywhere if we start winning things and start building a team around him. He won't go nowhere. He won't go nowhere. Did you see, Rob, in the midst of your beer fog, did you see us start to employ a little bit of the dark arts after we got the third goal?
Listen, I think that it was, listen, when it's one of those things, when it happens to you, you see it as dark arts, possibly a little bit of cheating. I don't like, listen, diving, that is something I can't abide. That's even if it's a player in claret and blue. I absolutely cannot abide that. But there's certain little tactics that you need to, and I'll refer to it as tactics, okay? There are certain tactics that you need to employ.
Brentford are fantastic at it.
Yeah, like a free kick is given and one of your players goes up to the ball and kicks it away from the team that's had, from the opposition players, so that it wastes an extra, 10 seconds. But it's that, and, the goalkeeper's got to take a goal kick, and instead of him taking it from the side where the ball's gone out, he takes it to the other side. He kicks his studs on the post to clean the mud off, and that's wasted 30 seconds and various, like I say, tactics. Let's call it tactics. Everybody does it. It's like when you get a throw in and you always advance the ball 5-10 yards, and it's only when the referee goes, whoa, hold on there, that you go, okay, right, this is the line that I don't cross. Do you know what I mean? Everybody does it.
Listen, there was one in the second half, and Mr. Dawson, there was a cross that come in, and Big Dawes, he kind of misjudged where that thing was coming from, and it clocked him straight in the movie, straight in the side of the face, poor sod. And he went down like a sack of shit, Rob. He hit the deck. The referee played on, but he didn't get up. And I'm thinking, shit.
Takes a lot to keep him down, doesn't it?
Right. And that's why I thought, shit. Didn't see what happened. All you saw at that point was in play, and he goes down, and the referee stops play. Lyon had the ball in the centre circle, just outside the centre circle in their own half. He stops play, and the referee motions towards his head like this. So here I am thinking, concussion. Concussion protocol comes into play. Then BT Sport showed the highlight, and I'm sitting there going, Big Doors, you absolute horse. I fucking love it. He got hit in the side of the face by the ball and went, nah, hold on a minute. I'm going to waste some time here, and just laid on the floor. He didn't give a shit. He played them from the first leg at their own game. He stayed down. He made the referee stop the game. Probably killed about 2 or 3 minutes. So I get they're added on at the other end of the half, but
just breaks the momentum, though, doesn't it?
It's the momentum that was broken up. Then you see Antonio lay down and he's rubbing his calf muscle, and again I'm sitting there thinking, shit. It's oh no. And then you see the smile on his face as Fornals comes over and gives him the old rub on the back of the leg. You see the smiles on the faces, and you're kind of going, I love this team. This is on the money. And about 3 or 4 times you saw Areola, the ball would come through from an attack. It'd bounce in front of him. And rather than go, I'll catch that, thanks very much indeed, he'd bounce it off his chest and just leave it at his feet. And it'd be like,
doing a John Travolta.
And he was just like, oh, I'm not going to pick it up until someone comes to get it. I'll just wait. And they come running in at him. He picks the ball up. There were times when he threw himself to the floor. He'd go up. The cross would come in. He'd catch it. And rather than just land on his feet like he could, he lands on his feet, goes down to his knees, onto his elbows, onto the ball.
Listen,
and then gets up again.
That's what you need to do. I mean, there was a game that
played it really well.
There was a game that City played where Edison, I think it was, got sent off in a Champions League game, I think it was, and they had to put Kyle Walker in goal.
Yes.
Or he got injured or whatever it was. And there was one where he comes and collects the ball and stands there, and he's got one of his defenders going, go down, go down, go down. And he goes, oh, Christ. Listen, it's what you've got to do, and everybody's at it. And it's one of those things that it's like I say, it's not cheating, it's not blatant cheating, because really, like you say, the ref is going to put the time on, or the ref should. And if the referee doesn't, then he's failed in his duty as a referee.
Yes.
But it just breaks the momentum just a little bit. And
they did it to us last week, and we got our own back this week, and it was amazing. Tommy, where are we? We are on Chris from Leicester Till I Die says 3 British teams win the 3 UEFA Commons.
Please, you've got through, mate.
I was about to say that.
We watched it before. We were sitting in the pub.
I had it on in the background, and again, brilliant. And again,
going 1-0 down as well, away from home. Fantastic.
Superb performance. They were really, really good. So congratulations to Leicester as well. Jones says no team deserved the dark arts more than Lyon's winkers. She's right. Tommy says, talking to Chris, that'd be amazing. Leicester, Chris says, so would. Neil says, Soufal put his 9 nuts on the line for the dark arts too. I saw that, and I actually didn't think it was a free kick to start with, then watched them and you know what? And yeah, just stay down holding the gonads, mate. You'll be fine. And then there wasn't much else going on in the second half apart from the dark arts, and so I'll put paid to any of the action on the pitch, but I want to pick up what Tommy says here. When I covered it, I said it, I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah,
I think Diop deserves special mention. We were all probably a bit nervous about him playing, but he had a blinder. I said it right at the very start, Tom. Right at the very start, he won the first header that he needed to win, and you could see that it settled his confidence. And then he absolutely clattered Ikemba, or whatever his name is, out on the right, and he played 70 minutes with a yellow card. Declan Rice, I'll come back to Dec in a minute. And he was, and for me, I don't think Diop put a foot wrong in that game. No. There was a couple of bits where he slashed at the ball in our box, but Dawson was there to clear up that little bit of a mess. There was Dawson lashing at the ball, and Diop was there to clear up his mess. So, swings and roundabouts. But I thought he was absolutely amazing yesterday, Diop. But he wasn't my man of the match. I give that to Ballon Dawson. He
didn't play a rating?
No, because I'm going to have to get back to work in a minute because we're nearly at an hour, and I'm very conscious that Joe's downstairs on her Todd, and I don't want her to stab me when I get down there. For me, Dawson was man of the match, but one man other than Diop deserves another special mention. For just the way he stood out, the way he led the team, the way he didn't even stop to think about where the yellow card would get him for the game against Frankfurt. Declan Rice was world class last night. I know we say he's world class, but Declan Rice proved to the world last night that was watching that he deserves to be spoken in the same comments as people like Zidane, you know, world class footballer. Declan Rice is 24, 23, 24 years old. He's still 5 years, 6 years away from his prime as a midfielder.
Agreed.
I'm scared to see where this lad will go with regards to his ability and what he will be able to do as he gets into his prime time of his career. The guy he's something else. And Rob, I know you're only a couple of years older than me, and I mean, I never got to see Bobby Moore play. I never got to see the great Pele play. I never got to see. I saw Maradona play, but only on telly. You know, the likes of Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. Declan Rice has the ability to be the best footballer in the world and the best footballer of a generation. I cannot say enough about the guy. I run out of words, Rob, when I try to describe Declan Rice. His passing, his ability, his ability to read the game, his ability to break up play. You know, I said something to a guy called John that was in my pub last night. He used to run with the ICF back in the day. And I turned around and said to him last night, he's like a chess player. Now, Bobby Moore, watching clips of Bobby Moore on telly, Bobby Moore was a chess player when it comes to football. He knew what was going to happen 3 moves ahead before he got the ball.
Agreed.
He could read a game so well, Bobby Moore, that he knew where a certain player was going to be, whether the player was 3 yards behind him. He knew that in maybe 2 or 3 passages of play, i.e. passes of the ball, that player was going to be over there. And that was where Bobby Moore was going to make that pass, right? I've watched so many videos of Bobby Moore doing exactly that. What I saw last night was Declan Rice doing the exact same thing. But not just when we were on the break. I'm talking about while they're on the break and we're defending. He can see a pattern of play, and honestly, the guy's peripheral must be outstanding. But he can see a pattern of play developing that he knows in 4 or 5 passes time, that geezer there is going to get the ball. So I'm going to go stand next to that geezer, and I'm going to stop that from happening. And lo and behold, I think I read it 3 or 4 times in the highlights. I watched this back in the highlights. I watched the highlights about 8 times this morning while I was doing the cleaning. And you watch him and you can see him looking at everything that's going on around him while they're building up from the back. And he goes, you can see the way his brain ticks. That's going to go there to him. He's going to go down the wing. He's going to then try and cut it inside. Right, I'm going to go up this man. And lo and behold, that's where it ends up. And Declan Rice is there to break up play. And then the same thing again when, you know, Dawson's got the ball. He's constantly looking around what's going on around him before he receives the ball to know exactly where it's going before he's even received it. Now, Declan Rice, for me, currently, and I've said it before, and anyone that watches our channel will know that this is, and I mean this, Declan Rice is, and for a long time will be, the best player of his age in his position in the world. There is not one other player, and I tell you what, I personally think he's on the verge. Well, Kimmich is a little bit older than him, from what I recall. He's about to eclipse Kimmich in the way that he plays the game. And for me, currently, Kimmich is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. And he's about to eclipse Kimmich. You could put him next to Kimmich, and Kimmich will feel like he'd been made redundant. You know, all of these Chelsea fans that bang on about Jorginho and N'Golo Kante. Behave yourself. They're not even fit to clean his boots with their tongue. I'm sorry, but they're
I think with
not.
Kimmich, I think you make the comparison to Kimmich, and it's a good comparison to make. I would argue now, how long has Kimmich been at Bayern Munich?
Oh, yeah, a good number of years.
I think if you put Declan Rice right now, and I'm not wishing this.
No. I know what you're going to say, though.
Right now, in the Bayern Munich team, in place of Kimmich, and gave him a season to get used to the play and the players around him and improve and da-da-da-da, Declan Rice becomes the best CDM, full stop.
Yeah, mate, even at his, like his age, that's what I mean. You could take him and drop him, bump into Real Madrid's scheme. You could take him and drop him into Barca, City, Liverpool. You know, these great sides in the Champions League. Let's not dick around. These great sides in the Champions League right now: City, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Bayern Munich have crashed out. Chelsea have crashed out. Right? You could take Declan Rice and go ping and drop him in, and he wouldn't look out of place.
No,
even just going, not even acclimatizing, Rob, to the way Bayern play or to the way that German football plays. Declan Rice would walk into that team and go, "I got this shit."
Yeah. The only thing that sort of like could up would be, obviously, he doesn't speak the language, change of culture, this, that, and the other. That might sort of be the only thing that could possibly make him go a little bit into his shit. Other than that, no, I agree.
He showed me last night, mate, and as Tommy says here, Rice is playing chess while everyone else is playing drafts. Hammerhead says, what a great win just 2 days after Sir Bob's birthday. You know,
here's the thing with what was I going to say with Declan Rice? When we do player ratings, and we've done it a few times recently, it has to be said, where we've turned around, or you've turned around and said, and people in the chat have turned around and said, wasn't really a great game from Declan Rice, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what are you going to give him out of 10? I'll give him a 7.
Yeah.
And that's a poor game for Declan Rice.
That's the thing, Rob.
Of what he said. Yeah. And even like when he plays a game that's not quite to that standard, he's still one of the better players on the pitch.
Oh, and by a mile, Rob. This isn't even a joke. He's by a mile the best player currently, right? Currently, you line up a West Ham team and put them on a pitch. Okay, bang. Declan Rice is the most talented player on that pitch, right? Listen, I don't care. People are going to come at me with Cristiano Ronaldo. Shut up, guys. Done. Right? He's absolutely ruined that dressing room. Jadon Sancho, guy that they spent 75 million quid on, has been absolutely shat on because they brought that man in because City went, oh, we'll take him. City played Manchester United for absolute fools at the start of the season. Absolute fools, because that's ruined. That is one of the big problems with United right now is Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, Declan Rice. Declan Rice is the most talented player on a football pitch when West Ham line up with him in their squad. I'll be honest, we know who we're facing in the semi. Okay, I might change my mind the closer we get. Right. I'm telling you now, I'm going to whisper it, Rob. Let me whisper it to you. Do you mind if you come a bit closer, Rob? I'm going to whisper it to you. West Ham are going to win this fucking Europa League. Right? I've whispered it. Right?
I won't tell you one, I promise.
All
just
right,
between you and me.
Just you being the four walls, right? Listen, when that happens in 6 weeks' time, okay. Yep. Declan Rice wins his trophy that he's desperate to get his hands on. Okay. If you're a footballer, your desire is to win a trophy, is to have winners' medals and maybe even international caps. Sometimes that doesn't always work, and that's any footballer, Rob. I'm talking the guys that are currently playing down in League One want to win League One title. They're like they know they're never going to win the Premier League. Okay, this 33-year-old journeyman who's having his last stab. listen, he still wants to win that title. He still wants to win the League One title, or sometimes he wants to win. He want to win the Papa John's or whatever. You tell me that the Rotherham guy that won the Papa John's a couple of weeks ago isn't absolutely buzzing for winning the Papa John's, right? It's about levels, right? Declan Rice in 6 weeks' time, if everything goes to plan, will have his first trophy as a West Ham player, his first major trophy, not the Betway. He'll have his first major trophy.
Yeah, and he's got Champions League football to play next season.
Right? Tell me why he wants to leave. He loves this club. You saw that last night. He loves this club. People saying, "Oh, he's a Chelsea boy." Fuck off now. He ain't. He's a West Ham boy. Listen, his best mate plays for Chelsea. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. His family are Chelsea, or he was at Chelsea. I get that. But they let him go because he weren't good enough. You know what? If that was me, 2 fingers. See you later on. Thanks very much. No, we win that title. We win that Europa League, mate. He ain't going nowhere. And we can honestly say we got the best player on the planet.
Well, I won't tell anyone your secret, Duke.
All right. Well, and Andy did ask what was said, but don't tell him. Hammerhead says definitely, Duke. If we could choose a destination for Rice, I'd probably choose someone like Real Madrid. Yeah, you're right. Charlie says even away from his ability, his character is just as good. Guaranteed. He's taking Nose's place in the dressing room cleaner. Yeah, I saw that picture and it made me cry. Like that. That's.
I'll guarantee that Mark Noble has read a book called Legacy. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's about the All Blacks.
We've spoken about it before, mate. Yeah.
There are 15 standards, if you will, that the All Blacks, who are, without shadow of a doubt, the greatest sporting team ever. And one of their mantras, if you will, is called clean the sheds. The All Blacks go wherever it is around the world, whether it's in New Zealand or whether it's to Twickenham, whether it's to Loftus Versfeld, whether it's to the Stade de France, wherever it is they're going around the world, whether it's to the Telstra Dome, whatever. And they will rock up with all their gear, all their drinks, their food, and all their training kit, boots. And before they leave, they will clean it and they will leave it as they found it.
Yep.
Sparkling. Why is that? Because nobody needs to look after the All Blacks. The All Blacks look after the All Blacks. Yeah. And I'll guarantee you that Mark Noble has read that book.
Yeah.
Right. One of the other things in that book, like I say, there's 15 rules, and I'm not going to go through them, but there's 2 that really stick out: sweep the sheds, and no dickheads. There's a rule the All Blacks have: no dickheads. Right. There have been many players that have come through the New Zealand system of rugby union who've been supremely gifted players and played for teams like the Crusaders and the Highlanders in Super Rugby, that have never worn the All Black jersey or have worn it for a very limited amount of caps before they're discarded. And the reason that is because they are considered dickheads.
Yeah.
They're considered just to be complete. They're very talented players, but just they don't buy into the ethos of what the All Blacks are. And that's why they're not kept around. There's no individual that is bigger than the All Blacks.
You could say the same then, Rob, with Moyes' mantra, couldn't you? You'd probably say he's read the book as well.
Well, guaranteed. If anyone hasn't read it, honestly, go and read the book Legacy. I can't remember who the author was. It's a brilliant book, and it takes you behind the greatest team in world sport. You want to talk about, successful teams. If you think Brazil in international football are a successful team, and they are, but look at the women's of the New Zealand All Blacks going back 120 years. They've got more World Cups than anyone else, with the exception of South Africa, who's got the same amount of World Cups as them. And they've got more years since the world rankings have been invented. They've got more weeks as #1 team in world rugby than all of the other teams have been world number one combined.
Yeah.
So that's, like I say, Mark Noble's read that book, and Mark Noble will try and take that and give that knowledge to the next cab off the rank, which is Declan Rice.
But he's probably not just to Declan Rice though, mate, because you saw in that picture that Johnson was sitting there while Noble was doing it. Not being funny, Ben Johnson seeing that and going, I can do that. I should do that. You know what I mean? And probably that'll be what's said. Tommy says here, what gives me confidence that we can win the Europa League is that the players are bringing the confidence and believe that they can beat whoever is put in front of them. And you could see that last night. You know what? I mean, I have this absolute urge to scream it from the rooftops, but I'm confident we can. I'm confident we can. You can't pretend otherwise. Listen, you have a look at some, people saying about Liverpool's journey to what could be a Europa League final and just how easy that they've had that run that's sat in front of them. They've not really faced any difficult teams. Well, I don't tend to agree with that. And the reason I don't tend to agree with that is those teams are there on merit, just like we are in the semi-final, just like Rangers are. People saying, oh, Rangers are really going to struggle against Leipzig. I'd like to point out, I said that Rangers are going to struggle against Dortmund, and they shat all over them at Dortmund, right in front of the yellow wall. Rangers are there on merit. They deserve to be there. Liverpool got Villarreal in the semi-final. Villarreal are no pushovers. Bayern Munich found that out.
Man United last season in the Europa League as well.
Right. And I guarantee you now, right, Frankfurt as a club are thinking, Scheiße. Because they know that in 2 weeks' time, they've got to come to the London Stadium. They also know that 4 weeks ago, they tried to get a little bit lively in Seville. Word of warning to the Frankfurt fans. That might have been a bad idea. Just saying. Let's wrap it up because Jo is staring at the camera because she knows I'm not.
Can I just, before we do, one thing I want to say, and I don't know if this is something you're aware of or not, but I am going to say a very big thank you to Gonzo from Hammer's Chat, who the other morning gave a little shout out to this little channel. He didn't have to do that. I wasn't expecting him to do that. And I thank him really sincerely for taking time out of his video to give this channel a little bit of momentum, a little bit of a push. Really greatly appreciated. And I've already sent him a thank you via WhatsApp. And I'd just like to sort of place out there that I've got a great deal of time and respect for both Gonzo and Gio. They've helped behind the scenes an awful lot.
Very much.
And they didn't have to, because when we started this channel, there was that little thing in the back of my head that was like, how are we going to be received by the other guys that are already doing this? Is it going to be a little bit of a closed shop? Is it going to be basically, no, we're not going to help you, fuck off and get lost sort of thing? Everybody that we've approached for help has been very, very giving. Russ Budden, West Ham Network, Anton at West Ham Network, Jake Cox. But I'm going to make a specific thank you, as I say, to Gonzo himself on his video yesterday morning. Basically gave us a little bit of a push. And as I say, I'd like to just sort of pay him due credit for that.
That being said, we like I say, we do get on well with the guys over at Hammer's Chat. And Mr. Walsh actually gave us a shout out last night as well on his watch. I popped in just during the second half, and I literally just put one word. It was that was all I did. And
how did you spell that?
It was a few G's and then several H's at the end of it.
Any exclamation marks?
No. I just went in with that, and he turned around and he went, "Oh, it's dude, I know how you feel. I know how you feel." And then he proceeded to give us a plug as well, which I thought was nice.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
Thank you.
thanks to those guys. Hopefully on Sunday, Mr. Gonzo May will be at the Boats. I'm hoping. If he is, I hope to see him because I've booked tickets for the Boats pre and post, and we'll see what we're doing after that because I'm going again to the Burnley game with my family this time, all of them. So yeah, that'd be good. Any last words, Mr. Rob? I know you told me you would prefer me to do a lot more of talking, and as you said, you do that anyway. Funny fucker. Just while I throw some comments up on the screen.
The humility that Mark Noble showed in that is James Kerr. Yes, that's the one, Neil. Yes, James Kerr. Brilliant book. Really good book. I'd recommend it. Might have said everything as a player, but everything wrong. Listen, he's an example to any aspiring footballer, and I'm not necessarily talking for his abilities on the pitch, but just as a human being, as a leader, as a captain, as a role model, as an example. Mark Noble is the best that we could have. He's better than what we could have hoped for, to be honest with you. He's absolutely brilliant. This is his last season in claret and blue as things stand right now. I suspect this will be his last season as a professional footballer. That's not been confirmed, but I suspect that that's going to be the case. But he absolutely must be kept around the club. His experience will be invaluable, whether that's as a coach, whether that's as a director of football, future manager one day. I don't know, but I hope that the club do the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I have a message a message for you. Hello, hope you're happy with the result. It's Libby.
Oh, it's my beautiful baby girl. She'll be very embarrassed that I've said I'm a beautiful baby girl, my little lamb. And at this point, she's recoiling in horror and going, "I'm not a lamb, I'm a bull."
She's something. Elliot says prediction for tomorrow: Man U 1-0 with Norwich. I hope
that
right.
would be a good point. In fairness,
that'll be fantastic. That will be fantastic for us. Jones says, "Cheers, Duke Gatesy. Great stream. Great time to be a hammer." Bang on. That's exactly what I was going to say to sign off. Right now, it is a great time. A great time. Wink, wink, wink. To be a hammer. Andy says, I'm guessing he's talking about Noble. He'll be the cleaner.
He'd take it.
And I'm going to give the last word, Rob. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it because of your voice, but Hammerhead wants to know what Zippy thought about the game last night.
I probably would struggle to do Zippy with my current vocal cord condition.
I did wonder.
I have had a chat to Zippy, and he just sort of like gesticulated wildly and sort of started singing West Ham Massive.
You know what? And Andy says extremely.
There you go.
You know what? As Jones said, great time to be a hammer. Is it Luke over at the Three Hammers?
Yes. I've sent him a message. I sent him a couple of messages to try and get him involved in something.
What I will say is his if you don't know, go over to the Three Hammers guys, give them a like, a subscribe, all the rest of that malarkey. He did a video this morning. It came out. I caught a little bit of it as I was doing some bits, and he turned around and he said, "Are we about to find those fortunes?" And I was like, I fucking love that. I love that. The fortunes are no longer going to be hiding. Are we about to find them? And I'm like, I love that. I love that. That ties in so well, obviously, with the song and everything else. And you know what? I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about what's possibly coming. I'm confident. I hope the rest of you out there in YouTube land are confident. Rob, what are we? Role reversal here. Oh, I'll do your bit. Go on, Bosz.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I've
You
hit the
don't
wrong
have
button.
to do that. These guys know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you probably all are, but if you haven't, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share the stream. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you haven't, you silly person, get that sorted. Hit the bell icon. We'll be uploading stuff, and you can watch us waffle on and laugh at us and call us rude names. But it's all banter, as we know. And thank you for your support.
What I will say, keep your eyes peeled. We have something very, very special on the horizon, Robert, don't we? Something very special.
Might be better than you currently know, because I haven't had that conversation with you.
Oh, you slimy little bastard. I love it.
Networking, bit of networking while I've been over here.
Yeah, you're a pain in the ass. Yeah, something special coming up that might even be more special than I thought it was going to be. I just want to say thank you to everyone that's still in the chat, that's stuck around for an hour and 25 minutes. You're wonderful people. Love you all. No, I'm not wearing a Ben Rama shirt, Andy. Behave yourself. Although there were rumours that when he came on for Declan Rice, bottles and stuff were thrown on the pitch from the Lyon fans. I don't know whether I read this. I don't know how much of it's true. But that just shows sore losers and total winkers. I don't care. Rob, what are we?
We are massive. I'm trying to do a zippy. I can't. Huge, ginormous, supermassive. Come on, you Irons.
Fucking huge. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you all. Come on, you Irons, and we'll see you on another. See you tomorrow for the review preview of the Burnley game. So we'll see you soon.
England.
Take it easy, guys. We'll see you soon.